I guess this is going to be another one of those videos where I wish I had gotten a haircut, and yes, I am talking about this show again. So, anyway, a little while ago I just got finished watching the most recent episode of Girl Meets World. This is sort of a vlog, reaction, recap sort of thing. Okay, I guess I won't spoil the ending of this episode for those of you who haven't seen it, but I will talk about the plot, although not much more than, what was revealed in the promos. And just for the record, this episode also does stand on its own, pretty much, so if you haven't watched the rest of the show, I won't be like spoiling other episodes that came before, to talk about the plot of this episode. Okay, so this episode is called Girl Meets the Forgiveness Project, and the plot here, for those of you who haven't seen it, is basically just Corey, the teacher, gives class of all the students, Riley, Maya, Lucas, all those guys. He gives them an assignment where they have to forgive someone, and they call it the Forgiveness Project. He gives them in class, he gives them a piece of paper and an envelope, and they can write a letter to someone who wronged them in some way, and say that they forgive them. And basically, there's a couple things going on. Riley gets into this whole plot about, which is kind of more just a side plot, where she has to forgive her younger brother Augie because when he was like 3 years old, he bit the face off her teddy bear, which is some pretty funny stuff, but it kind of goes in a different direction later in the episode that I didn't expect, which was good. But the main plot here is that Riley's friend Maya, she ends up deciding to write a letter to her father, who she hasn't seen or talked to in years, because he basically, walked out on her and her mom when she was very little and just had not been part of their lives at all, pretty much. They may have, heard from him a little bit now and again, but, had not been part of their lives. And, Maya's very mad at her, she's very mad at him, obviously. This creates for a lot of interesting conflict and drama. And, it's definitely a very interesting episode. It was actually just this thought that I was thinking about earlier, because a while ago I was talking to somebody online about this show, and one thing that I said is that I think this show is basically practically like a dramedy. It's pretty much like equal amounts of drama and comedy, which, I would say is fair. And I was thinking, this might be the first time there's ever been kind of like a live action kid show that I can think of that was like a full blown dramedy. I mean, some people might bring up Boy Meets World, but that's it's not really a kid show, and even that, I mean, in its earlier seasons, it was pretty much straightforward comedy, and then, they kind of went more into dramedy in the later seasons. But even that, I think they had a decent amount of episodes there that were just straightforward comedy. Although this one occasionally does too, but a lot of the time it is basically just pretty much comedy and drama. A lot of episodes deal with some pretty serious stuff. Hold on. Sorry, my throat is I was just wetting my throat. So basically, so what happens is, and this isn't spoiling anything because it was in the promos for the episode, Maya writes a letter to her father, and he ends up showing up, and they're kind of surprised by this. And I don't want to get too much into specific plot details beyond that, but this was definitely a very good episode. It was, it wasn't quite as serious as I wanted it to be. If for those of you who follow me on DeviantArt, I recently reviewed an episode that's a couple episodes back from this one called what the hell was it called? I don't know, I forget the name. But that episode, it was an episode that was very serious throughout. And this one had a good amount of comedy, which is always good. The comedy wasn't hilarious, but it was very solid. It had a lot of, but this one still had a lot of dramatic moments that were very well done. And without giving away the ending, I'll just say that this is somewhat of a typical plot, but it goes in a direction where basically it does something that is, I'm not sure if I've ever seen before one of these kind of stories, and I definitely liked it a lot. It created for some very effective drama, and it kind of gave sort of an interesting twist to the moral of the episode, which was also nice. But yeah, it was definitely a very good episode. I can't really think of anything big that I didn't like about it. Not to say that it's like a perfect, amazing episode, but it's definitely a very, very strong episode. I liked it a lot. I'd probably give it something like an 8 out of 10 if I was to rate it. But yeah, it does a lot of interesting stuff. Like I said, there's a couple of these like side plots with the class and the forgiveness stuff that they're doing on their project. Like I said, Riley, the main character, she has to forgive her little brother for the teddy bear thing. And at first she's just like so like unable to forgive him for this like thing that doesn't seem like much when she was when he was very little, and that's actually very very funny stuff. But like I said, the plot that kind of side plot goes in kind of an interesting direction too, which I won't spoil, but it's very good. I liked it a lot. And then there's another one with Lucas and his friend, whose name is escaping me right now, and Farkle, which revolves around the whole idea of that whenever they go to movies with Farkle, he always kind of just like at the beginning of the movie, he basically just will just like spoil it for them because he's so smart. He can just like figure out how the movie's gonna end, and he'll just shout that to everyone, in the movie theater, which really annoys them. And their whole idea, what they're doing, is they have to forgive him for this, and they try to give him another chance, and he kind of ends up doing it again. And this is mostly kind of a comedic side plot too, but then it also kind of has an interesting, more serious twist, which I liked as well. I won't say what it is, but it's pretty good. So, I'm trying to think of anything else I want to say, but yeah, it's just another, very solid episode of the show. I like this show a lot, and depending on the reaction to this, I might do another one of these for, I don't know, next week episode or whenever the next episode airs. I think that one's going to have some pretty big stuff too. I would say this is probably like probably one of the best episodes of this season, which hasn't been as good as the first season in my opinion, but yeah, this is, I'm not sure if I've really seen the episodes in this season that I would call great episodes, but a lot of very solid ones, and this is one of them. Yeah, like I said, I'd probably give it like an 8 out of 10, and I don't know. Let me know if you want to see this again, any of you who may watch this, whether you're my, followers or not. And, I don't know. Good episode, and I guess that's it. Thanks for watching.